You could still interrupt to say hello. I turned back. I thought I was like, who the hell?
Antonio saw me.
I did not look at
Hi.
That's my girlfriend, Chelsea.
Hi, Chelsea. How are you?
Number 2 Mets fan here. Safe to say, number 1 is Rob.
Bryan, you and Stanley stay on? I told myself I wanted to play 7 games today.
I'm gonna be
5, so I got 2 more in me, and then those will be my last 2. It's perfect. This is what happens when you get old. You have to set,
7
limits.
is a high quota. It's
Seven?
classified as
That's a lot of sets, bro.
No, one day the night game was like 15.
And I played 17.
Yeah.
I played 17
Played
because
17.
because Jordan was like, I need you for 2 more, and I was like, Jordan,
Oh, with the crafty one.
what?
Yeah,
The crafty one, right?
The oh gosh. That was the one with the crafty one.
Exactly.
Well, that was my favorite. I think that was my favorite quote. We were talking, and Jordan was telling me like, oh yeah, he's all these things, and then David walks past me and goes, just hit it not right to him and you'll be fine. I was like, okay, good. All right, just not right to him. That's, yeah.
Also, Mike Montgomery.
Oh, I did.
I
Yeah.
was like, thank God.
Oh man, I'm
Someone's gotta keep the shit out of his crew. He messaged, like, David, Brooklyn David was like, who wants to play in the morning, like on Friday night? And I was like, it's busy, like, take him. And then he said, what about tomorrow morning? And I didn't reply at all, and no one replied. And then Mike McGovern was like, LIC is booked Saturday, Sunday morning.
Who's on?
So he just shows up.
future Mike.
Yep. Chelsea, you jump on next game with not this one, the next one with Antonio. You guys stay.
He's not
The
Asthma
mayor
David.
has spoken.
Asthma David. There was Brooklyn David and Asthma David. But Asthma David's in the
Yes, of course.
Right for right now, though? I understand.
But you better win it.
like choking every game and
better
having to
win
like
it.
take his inhaler twice a game. Asthma David, right?
What about him? Oh God.
He'd be chugging that albuterol.
No, yeah,
Middle of the game.
he
Okay.
him and Morty were the good old, 5-minute breaks between points about halfway through the game.
Well, his, I'm like,
No, he
you're gonna
needed it.
die.
He sounded
Like,
bad. Yeah.
Literally, he couldn't breathe. And it's like,
What do you call asthma, David?
asthma David. Hotel asthma David.
I want to sit here. No, we'll clean it off. Do I have anything in my bag that I could use to do a little clean off? Liam, we're not leaving here until you get a big W today, okay? We're not taking that shit today, Liam. Just not taking it. I mean, like, I have those thoughts some days, Liam.
There might be sense to go home.
I have those thoughts. I have those thoughts some days, Liam. But you know what? What would your grandmother say, huh?
She'd ask me how
She don't want a quitter.
No, she'd ask me how my son is doing.
Good. Exactly. She changed the topic.
And then she'd ask where I am in the morning.
Where you what?
She'd ask why I'm not here.
I ever tell you this story, Liam? So my grandmother, I have 2 sets of grandparents, believe it or not. One side never lived all that close, weren't very sporty. The other side was like big into sports. Would watch my brother and me play soccer and baseball every single time growing up and stuff. And so my brother's 4 years older than me. He's their oldest grandkid. And then I'm 4 years younger. I'm the second oldest grandkid. And then there's another 4 years before you get to the next oldest grandkid. So my brother played. He was a good soccer player. He was a good baseball player. He went to all his games. I played, good soccer player, good baseball player. Went to all my games. After you get past the 2 of us, the rest of the family, just not like they played some, but yeah. And I remember I was sitting at one of my cousin's middle school basketball games, and my grandma was just like, "I was playing so bad. Like, I don't get. You and your brother were fun to watch. You guys were good baseball players. It was fun. You both good goalies and soccer. Like, Bryan came to free throw for his life." And I was like, "Grandma, you're supposed to be supportive. You know, you're supposed to be supportive." But no. Grandma knew. She was just like, "No, Bryan is not up to snuff. I'm not coming to these games if Bryan can't score at least 5 points." You know? Yeah. Grandma knows. Ooh, I see a cat. Looks almost like a yeah. Are you a cat fan, Liam? You have 2 cats? What type of dog do you have? Ooh. Yes, let's see.
He's big and
Hairy.
overweight and pestilent now, but I
What
pictures of
now?
him when he was young. Pestilent.
Yeah, that is. This guy's in college, so he's, yeah.
Where is the little?
Chelsea, do you have any grass or sand tournaments with Stanley set up for summer yet?
Yeah. Well, we're supposed to play next weekend, but
Where? Oh, who's in Beacon, right? John's in Beacon, but not playing volleyball.
we're mostly playing men's and women's.
Yeah.
It's usually my team.
Do you have a set women's partner?
This season, no, not yet.
That was very cute.
Thanks. I'm going for that one.
If Jordan didn't tape that net for you right there, it wouldn't have been as good looking though. What's his name? Rua?
So now is no word for fox. So fox is Rua Madra, which is red dog. And my dad is It's RUADH. What the hell is the game?
How old's the dog? 3.
Yeah.
Nice shot, Bryan. Man. Do you have about as much negative self-talk as I had Thursday morning?
There is a chance to get mad.
And I did threaten my boss. I told him I might jump out of my 27-story window. But you know what? I stuck around. I lived to see today. Was it worth it? I'm not sure, but you know, yeah, questionable. Yeah. I had a good lunch yesterday, so maybe. Take what you can get. Exactly. No, the most negative Bryan that's ever been seen was playing with Carl when things were not going well. That's I've never, whatever day that was, it must have been like Memorial. It was some day where we had a holiday on Monday. We came out here at like 2 o'clock. Me, Bryan, Carl, and Ryan. And they beat us handily like the first 2 games. And then we beat them close the next 3. And there's still one point that's like etched in my mind. Carl was up on a block for me for whatever reason. And I went high line, and Bryan dives corner, gets it up to Carl. Not all the way up to the net, but you know, Carl then sets it over his head. And way too tight. And anybody else who wasn't like exasperated with their partner may have tried to get low and feed it off the net. And it hits the net, and Bryan's just like slaps the ball, and then we served him out. And Carl comes to me, he's just like, Rob, our friendship, if we don't switch teams, like, we may not survive today. And I was like, well, you know, And they play the tournament together too. And Bryan was telling Carl, like, it's a tournament, you need to save your legs. We have a whole day thing. And apparently Carl was seeing stars by the semifinals. And Bryan texted me before the semifinals. He goes, I may never talk to Carl again if we don't win this thing. Thankfully they won. Yeah, exactly. Gotta stay ready. That's what Leo's been doing today. He's been saving all his energy for the second half of today.
I might as well jump right now. Because there's nothing else. Exactly. I'm waiting until...
Adrien, what score?
9-11.
9-11. I think the first tournament I ever played was with Dave. And it was a AA tournament, but it was like one of those at Highline during the winter. They didn't have open, and there was clearly a lot of good players. I remember David said to me, he's like, I got that in the second half. You sure? And David said to me, he's like, well, we got to conserve energy for the playoffs. He's like, David, today's the day we have to fix it. Look around. We conserve energy for the playoffs. We'll be 0-5 and out of here in a heartbeat. That was rude. Bryan, swing at that. Zoo would have swung at that. Zoo swung at that and almost hit it into Manhattan. Chelsea was like, that is not going. Not the shot. Yeah.
I get some green light.
That's
Went on orange.
yeah, you can't bend your knees game 2.
God forbid.
No. Bryan's somebody who like trains his grandkids very well. You know, like some grandparents are like, I don't need a cane. You know, my grandparents, I don't need a cane. You clearly need a cane. Trying to be like, give me a remote control thing, push me around. That's exactly. What score, Stanley?
4-0.
Like 14?
Yeah, 14-10.
14-10. Disgusting.
When I just walked to the spot.
You guys like that one, right?
Dramatic. All of it was dramatic.
Oh my
The set to
God.
Bryan's reaction.
How long do you have to write it? 4 due Friday?
The biggest one is like 10 days.
Okay. What's it about?
I just city on the island in the EU. It's really great. It's not interesting.
Liam, when it's done, can I read it?
There's not much to look forward to.
Liam, I just would love to. I want to see what we're working with. My first year of law school, there was a guy in the undergrad that I played basketball with. Basketball was like the foot campus we would play together, and he's like, "You're in law school, right?" It's like, "Do you mind reading like my papers, giving me some feedback, or whatever?" So I was like, "Sure." I read the first one. It was one of the worst written things I've ever seen. So I'd start reading, I'd proofread, I'd give some suggestions, and I'd read like a bunch of the semester, and they were getting better. I like right before the final, I don't know where he got it from. Before the final, he's like, "Do you mind reading this thing?" I was like, "Sure." There was no way this guy wrote it. No chance. I was like, "Any comments?" I was like, "No, it's just the thing you wrote." I was like, I know you didn't write it, but like, the thing I wrote about, I was like, literally impossible. There's no way. There's just sentences that make sense, you know. He was supposed to write it. Let me see. Oh, yes. He was supposed to write a paper about a character who was very sexist and misspelled sexist for sexiest, a pun. I was just like, oh God, this is not, you know, it's not good. Is Mr. Roberts sexiest? I don't know, you know.
Hey, how are you?
Consider this a warning.
Okay. Am I like?
No, I was just reading the shirt.
Oh, I was like, oh man. Good morning. Next one. I literally was just gonna say, you know, I really meant to get your number before, but then
Oh wow.
Oh, where are you from? What are you
Bryan
doing?
Ball. You know that song? What do you know? Oh yeah, Beach Boys. There was way too many people on the road today. Kind of. Holy cow. Yeah, I was in Long Island going boating yesterday. And,
You're not far across.
Yeah, on the lights. No.
Yeah.
Usually like Sunday morning.
Is there like a shift in dance for
Who?
There's a thing between like some places where
I was like, I think it's settled, but I also can't tell my
like a city over here.